Hi folks, today I'm going to have a look at this Jackson DK2 from 2008. Now this model I've had for a few years, but these can be picked up second hand relatively cheaply. Now these ones, like I say, made in Japan. Jackson have recently started to make guitars again in Japan, and they're far from being a kind of budget option. They're really quite costly things, just below some of their American. I think even their new American one is about the same price, if not slightly less. Now, I'm not saying these are spec for spec at all, but quality wise, this is a phenomenal instrument. I would rate it alongside the Ibanez E-Gen that I have, which was a Team J-Craft, beautiful guitar. This is so rock solid. Now there's things you can do to make them even better if you want, but I'll run through some of the things with you. Like I say, made in Japan, that's the first thing. Now this, if I bring it up to the camera, is all Seymour Duncan. It's a JB, which is probably my favourite humbucker pickup, and these are STK1s, which are a stacked single coil. They're not a humbucking single coil as in high output, but they're noiseless, so they still give you a very nice kind of stratty sound, but without the hum. Now the trem on this is the Floyd Rose sort of low pro idea. Ibanez did them as well in this sort of style. I quite like this for access getting to changing strings without having to poke around under the cavity there. Now this is a 5-way blade and the screw-in trem. No pull push, just a volume and a tone. 24 fret, the traditional shark fin inlays. It is the scarf joint and own brand tuning pegs. Tuning pegs seem excellent, they're fine. Of course we have a locking nut, so once it's locked up and in tune, you're good. Now on the used market you may sometimes see, I don't know if you can, but you occasionally see a little surface crack, same as you do with like the Fender Strats. Not a thing to worry about, it's not a stress crack, it's just a little crack in the kind of paint and lacquer on these. Again, I've gone with my bog standard DiMarzio clip lock strap. Best guitar strap ever as I'm concerned. It is an alder body with a maple top, or maple veneer, not sure which, and a maple neck, rosewood fretboard, and your traditional Jackson pointy headstock. Now this is one of my favourite gigging guitars. Tuning wise absolutely rock solid, sound wise great. This probably sees the light of day as often as likes my Ibanez E-Gen. It's pretty much as versatile, maybe not quite with the Ibanez having the 9 combinations of sounds, but all 5 in this are as you expect with an HSS, all very usable. But for the money, keep an eye out for this. This was it's still in very good condition, but I picked this up in a shop called Easy Cash in France, which is kind of like a cash converters or a kind of pawn shop kind of chain. And I paid 220 euros for this. And to be honest, I couldn't even buy those pickups for that, let alone a whole guitar. I've never had to do anything with it other than a little bit of a setup. The nut height was beautiful, straight out. I had to polish the frets a bit and give it a clean because it had been left unloved for a while. But it's in immaculate condition, plays absolutely beautifully, and like I say, 220 euros is probably less than 200 UK pounds and in dollars about $200 for a made in Japan guitar. It's insane value. Sound wise, I am in obviously with a Jackson with an HSS. I'm in kind of 80s heaven with this. As you see, I've got a Kramer Pacer there. That's my main gigging guitar. I'll discuss that at a later date. I've got an Ibanez Gem Junior there. I've got a Boel there, EVH there, and behind me assorted Ibanez. I think they're all Ibanez. Oh, and there's a Jackson in there as well. Actually, there's a Jackson Soloist, an Indonesian model, which is out of their Pro range currently. This is an old Pro range. The Soloist is out of the newer Pro range. This is the one to get. Now, what I would say is if you're looking, there's the kind of pre-2006 models, and they came with Duncan designed pickups. I used to own a DK2R with the reverse headstock, and it was a humbucker, and they were Duncan designed pickups, and they were fine. There was nothing wrong with them at all. They were a great pickup. But 2006 or 7 onwards, they started to use genuine American Seymour Duncans, and to me that's a selling point, or a thing to help resell if I ever wanted to. Not that I'm going to with this, but I'll go through a few sounds. 80s heaven. So I'm going into the Jet City today, into the Harley Benton with vintage 30s. Now this is essentially a Soldano Hot Rod Plus. So we're in the crunch channel, in the bridge, in the JB sound. I have a Boss SD1 on the floor if I want to give it a bit more kick. So here is just my as clean as I get out of a Jet City. I do love the JB. It's a thick, chewy, warm, punchy pickup. It's absolutely perfect for this. Now, whether it's ideal for modern metal, I wouldn't say. It's got a little bit more low end, but this is my go-to pickup. If I see a guitar with the JB, that's it. I'm there quite happily. That's why the Kramer wins as well. It's a JB and a Jazz. Now, if I give that humbucker a little bit of a kick with the SD1, drive at 9 o'clock, level full up. Tone is actually quite low in this. It's only at about 10 o'clock. Okay, into position number 2, which is one of the coils out the humbucker and the middle. You're into a nice kind of out of phase stratty. Again, a little bit of boost in that. into the middle, single coil, which like I say is an STK1 stacked single coil. So put some gain on, still no buzz, nice and clean. Put in the SD1 again. Again, I would tend to say not many people ever use that middle setting, but in this, again, it's another usable sound. The most favourite for most of those kind of clean cover band Hendrixy type thing is using position 4. And again, this is the two single coils together. Again, there's nothing wrong with that sound at all. And remember, €220. I dare say they're not going to always be that price, but I have seen them kicking around quite a lot on Marketplace and Reverb. €280, €300, even €400 is still worth it. Really is. So on to, again, just the SD1. I'm going to do a thing sometime on the SD1. It's by far my favourite overdrive, always has been. I've bought and sold more of them over the years than I dare mention, but it's here to stay. And on to the neck sound, which is again that little bit fuller. I do like a single coil on the neck. It allows me to play some nice kind of woolly lead stuff with a lot of gain, and it has still some clarity without being too flubby. If you don't know what flubby means, it's, yeah, flubby. Excuse my Scottishness. But the single coil in the neck. If I wind just the tone control off a bit. Again, I'll just pop in the SD1, which will give you, you know, you can go from a kind of bluesy rhythm sound to a bit more of a bluesy lead sound. And just roll the volume off. Okay, so now let's go to where it really belongs. Bridge pickup into the Jet City's overdrive channel, which is essentially a Soldano SLO overdrive channel, which is just my favourite. Kick in the SD1 because obviously you would. While I'm messing about with the whammy bar, these trims a lot of people say don't last that long, they wear out. It's 2009, 2008, sorry, and this is still absolutely rock solid. So no tuning issues at all. However, if that was a concern to anybody, for what these guitars cost, you can go on to like Thomann and for 145 euros, 150 euros, you could go and slap a nice black Goto Floyd Rose in there, and you've still got a hell of a cheap guitar. You could spend 222 euros and get the Schaller, and it's still a cheap guitar. Then you've got a Japanese made Jackson guitar with Seymour Duncans and a Schaller or a Goto Floyd Rose for still probably under 500 euros for the whole lot, which is insane. So I'll just go to the neck pickup and let you hear that with all this gain. No noise. Single coil, no noise. There's the humbucker. There's less noise on the single coil. Kick off the SD1. That was with the boost on actually, and you've still got so little noise. And rolled off with a lot of gain in that amp. people might prefer to have something like a treble bleed in there. I quite like a guitar that gets a little bit darker as you roll the tone off, as you roll the volume off it, the tone darkens. That suits me fine. Anyway, 20 minutes looking at a guitar that is the best part 15 years old. Keep an eye out. These are available second-hand all the time. Since I bought this, I've seen at least 3 or 4 locally. And I am really in the most rural part of the middle of France. And they are available. But yeah, even if these were 500 euros, they're still a bargain. If they were 600 euros, I would still be tempted to look at these. I really would. It is a standard plate on the back, however it is slightly angled in. It's hard to tell there, but you can still access the upper frets easily. The finish is great. They're also available in quite a nice kind of cosmic blue, and obviously there's blacks and reds and all the rest. This was what was available, usually in that second-hand market. It's what you can find, and you go for the guitar. I would not change this. It's a great guitar, lovely neck, not a single issue with the fretwork at all. It's absolutely silky smooth. It's got the binding that a lot of Jacksons do have. I do quite like that on stage, just having the black dots on the white background. It can be quite nice in low light. I have a guitar that's an absolute nightmare on stage for the dots in the side, but again, another subject. Anyway, thank you very much, and I'll have something for you again very, very soon. Bye bye.